Welcome to Dan About Thailand, and I must admit I'm a little bit nervous. There's a bit of a size difference here. I'm at the Muscle Fitness Factory in Pulldown, Thailand, and I'm with Bart, who knows a thing or two about training. But Bart, I think you're going to hit it with targeting 40-year-olds like me, aren't you?
Correct. So a lot of guys, when they get 40 or 50, hormones change. So we cannot train like a guy that's in their 20s and 30s. There's not much of a difference, but I'm going to show you how to train properly. So today what we're going to do is we're going to train back. I'm going to train in the right way instead of the wrong way. I'm going to teach them how to do the techniques properly. There are two types of people in the gym. People that come in and push and pull stuff, and then there are guys that train their muscles, and that's what we're going to do today.
Okay.
Are you ready for it?
I think I'm ready.
All right, it's going to hurt, but that's what it's supposed to do. If it doesn't hurt, it's not working. So we're going to get the muscles to hurt and not everywhere else.
No pain, no gain.
It's the old saying, isn't it?
Ready?
All right, let's do it.
Okay, but what's this, the lat pull-down machine, is it?
Okay, so you've got to remember, it's not how much you lift, it's how you lift it. A lot of guys will come in here and train with their ego. They think they're going to move big weights in order to achieve anything. Most of the time you end up with injuries. As you get older, you're more susceptible to injuries. So we're going to start training a lot smarter, right? So again, we don't need to fix on the weight, we need to fix on the technique, okay? And exercise has three concepts: pulling it down, contracting at the bottom, and then releasing it up. You'll see a lot of guys that just pull and release, pull and release. So they're literally robbing themselves of the contraction at the bottom. And the contraction at the bottom is equal to you pulling it down and you bringing it up.
So is that cheated, is it, if you're trying?
You're just going through that motion. I want you to train, okay? So you'll see this bar here. So this bar is very unique compared to your standard bar, which is this grip here.
Which is what you see in every gym, this one?
This one you see in every gym. So these are basically really well thought out bars by professional bodybuilders. The biggest thing when you train back, you're gripping so hard that you start hurting your forearms more than your back. Yeah. But the way this is designed, you can't clench your fist, so you can't grip hard. So you have to think smart by dropping the weights, and that's the technique.
That's what this is about, is it to stop you
from gripping so hard. Otherwise you're just going to get a massive pump in the forearm.
Yeah, which is what I always do.
Right, and then you're not training your back anymore. And then when you get to the other exercise, your arms are so tired because you're gripping so hard. Okay, so what I want you to do is very simple. Again, we'll start off with a very simple weight, like this. And we don't need to show the audience what it is, we just need to know that it's not a heavy weight.
So 150 kilograms.
Pounds. Yeah. Okay, so grab it here, okay? Then you sit down and lock your legs in. Now, what you want to do, you want to keep as straight as possible, and as you pull the bar down, you move your head back.
Oh, okay.
A lot of guys will lean back to get away from the bar, but don't do that. So now pull it down to your chest. Now when you get to the chest, hold it, go 1,000, then release it.
So keep the tension.
Keep the tension, and then pull it back down. 2, 1,000, now release it. Stretch it out, now pull it back down.
So feel that stretch at the top.
Yes. 3, 1,000, now release. So you've got asymmetric descent and contraction. Pull it down. 4, 1,000, and release. Now keep going like that. Keep it nice and tight. Keep the chest high.
Honestly, I can feel the form difference here.
Right. Keep going. We're at number 7. Here we go, 8, 1,000. When you bring it down, you must bring it to a complete stop and then bring it up.
Yeah, because that's using your muscles anyway to keep it there, isn't it?
Exactly.
Look, so I can feel that.
Yeah. And we use this sometimes, and it's called a static hold. Okay, that looks good. You see how weight now becomes irrelevant because that little weight is already starting to hurt you.
Yeah, so it's all about getting the form right.
Exactly. Keep going. Now give me 2 more like that. So up.
And should you always train to failure?
No, that's the difference, right? As we get older, we cannot do that. And the reason is that means we cannot recover the central nervous system. Okay, you're done. And you got to remember that your central nervous system is what fires the muscle into action. If that gets tired, then it's going to be tired to fire the muscle into action. So instead of running at 100%, you're running at 70%. And the more you do this by going to failure, the less and less effective you're going to be, because tomorrow it's going to be 60%, then 50%, okay?
Because I've been trying to come to your gym like 5 days a week, and then it was just this morning actually, I just didn't want to do it. I'd come here, but my body just didn't want to do it.
That's the time you say, I need a rest. You have to listen to the body. Again, we cannot recover like a 20-year-old. We cannot recover like a 30-year-old. I'm 51 years old. I cannot train in the old days where I did 5 days a week, sometimes twice a day, and I could get away with it. Now I'm down to 2 days training, I'll take a rest. 2 days training, I might take the weekend off. I go more instinctively. I stay consistent. Every week I'll go to the gym. Every week I'll train my entire body. But I have to break it up. Because if I did a very heavy leg session, maybe the next day I haven't recovered. But don't start using that as an excuse. Oh, I'm sore today, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow.
But if you're sore in the legs and you don't fancy it, can you still go the next day and work your upper body?
Yes, totally. Yeah. So long you don't do something like legs. But upper body's different, because you could be doing chest and then you're sore, and then you're going to train shoulders, which kind of acts the same mechanism by pushing. So you're better off doing something like an arm exercise or a back exercise. But you have to listen to the feedback. Overtraining is very easy to do as we get older.
Okay, here's a question for you then. When is too long a break? You know, oh, I'm aching, I'm going to take a few days off. Is that too much when I say a few days?
Yeah, because then you get in the habit of not coming back. Because then it's like 2-3 days. You only need maybe 1 day rest, in all honesty. You don't need 2 or 3 days rest. If you've been smashing the gym super hard, I understand 2 days. If you're at my level, and I train at my level, I can kind of say I need 2 days off. But I'm a former professional bodybuilder, so I know the intensity to train at. As a beginner walking in, you're not going to train anywhere close to me. And I can only train at this level because I've been doing it for 30 years. I couldn't do that if the guy just walked off the street, hasn't been in the gym before. He could not train at this level. My body's been doing this for 30 years, so it can recover better.
Okay, and why I'm thinking about it as well, because for the guys here that are in Thailand, perhaps they go and drink too much. Is drinking beer just a no-go area, or how do you get that right?
It's everything in moderation is okay. Food is entertainment, drinking is entertainment. I'll never take that away. But it's like, if my favorite food is cheesecake, I wouldn't eat it at every meal. Okay? If you enjoy beer, go out and have a beer, but don't do it with every meal. And if you say 15 beers is okay a night, well then you're wrong, because that's abuse. So anything that you drink or eat in excessive is abuse. So is drinking beer bad? No. Is drinking 15 beers bad? Yes.
Okay. And 1 time a week out on Saturday?
Not a problem.
Oh, good.
I mean, I eat very clean all week, but if I go out with my children, we go to Pizza Hut, I'm not going to sit there and eat rice cakes. I'm going to eat that pizza too. Good. So I mean, I still have to enjoy life. So I don't actually stop anybody from eating what they want. I just teach them to eat it in the right way. Because there's a correct way of eating, there's a healthy way of eating. I like to eat correctly. Yep. Hold at the bottom and then release. Go all the way to the top and stretch. Okay, that's it. Make sure you sit tall and upright, so as you pull down, you throw your chest up almost. So keep this in mind. One of the best things you could do as you do it, as the elbows goes down, your chest goes up. Okay? That way you're not losing form.
But this says it's doing my back. It feels like it's working the whole upper body a little bit.
Well, it's obviously, because you're not just training your back with the back muscles, you're using your arms as well. But predominantly you're hitting the back muscles more than anything.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. That looks good. See? So now you're actually more into the exercise rather than just moving the exercise all the way. You're concentrating on what you're doing.
And sometimes I've got to admit, I just want to get the set out of the way so that I can think I've done the sets.
Yeah, and that's not the point. I mean, if one exercise can do the job of 10, then why do 10?
Yeah.
The idea is to train the muscle.
See, now my forearm's hurting.
Yeah. Now, I want you to give me 2 more like that, because this is where the work actually begins.
This is where my forearms are burning.
Well, and 1 more. There you go. Job well done. Make a U-clamp. That's all you do. And you're using the hands to pull it down. If you start to grip, you're transferring all the energy into your arms or your forearms, and that's going to burn. So what I end up doing, I just make a hook. See how my thumb is here and not here? And I can do exactly the same thing. It's just pulling it out.
So if you have to use the other bar, it's the same thing, just don't grip the bar too tight.
Exactly. It's almost like you're just creating a U-hook, and it's just like that. And you see a lot of guys that put their thumbs underneath and they squeeze really hard. What ends up happening, a couple of things. They end up squeezing so hard and they start rowing the machine rather than pulling the machine. And again, you're not training your back, you're training everything else but back.
So you won't get growth.
You're here to change, and you use the equipment to change. You're not going to use the equipment to beat yourself up with. Use it smartly, right? There's an old saying, brawns and brains. As I get older, I'm using more brains to train than brawn, because I know that I can't lift big, heavy objects anymore. I have to train smarter. I have to look at everything. Contraction, release, why not squeeze in the forearms, that sort of thing.
So words like, I just want to keep it going, good form and intensity. Don't cheat yourself.
Yeah, because that's what's going to happen. You could do 5 or 6 sets sloppy. What have you achieved? Absolutely nothing. You've done 5 or 6 sloppy sets. But I can put you on this exercise and do 3 really tight exercises, good form, high intensity. You're going to get way more out of it. And in order for a muscle to change, you must create intensity. You can't will it to grow. Muscles don't want to grow, because if you make the muscle bigger and stronger, you need to feed that. It's like you bought us an expensive car like a Ferrari. You need to get a big salary just to keep that car on the road. So muscle is a luxury. So think about that. So we come into the gym, and in order to get that luxury, we must earn it and we must work for it, right? Just like the car, you don't get it for free. Intensity is the key. I can't lift any more weights. I don't want to lift heavier weights. So I create intensity by doing shorter rest or multiple drops, and these are the things I'm going to show you during the course. I'm going to show you how you can bring intensity into the gym and not just keep lifting heavier weights, because that's the number one way of people starting. Add a kilo. But what we're going to do as we get older, I'm going to show you how to bring intensity into a different way and yet get the same results.
Okay, let's go then. Okay, what have we got here?
This is a very standard exercise called the seat and row. Again, I'm going to use one of these new fancy grips. I use this because I want to make the hook so I don't blow out my forearms. Now, a lot of guys make a mistake by this. When they row, they actually start swinging back and forth. When you start swinging back and forth, all you're doing is using your whole body weight to move the weight and not your back. So this is how I want you to actually do it. Keep this in mind. Whenever your elbows goes backwards, your chest goes forwards.
Got you.
Like that. That is the key. Sit far enough away from it. You see a lot of guys that sit with their knees too high, which ends up interfering with your exercise. So push right back. My feet isn't high, my feet is very low. I'm going to stretch, and as I pull, I breathe out, and as I do, my chest goes up, and my elbows goes back, and I'm going to release.
So I take it doesn't matter what age you are, you always need good form.
Form is everything, because if you don't have the right form, you will end up hurting yourself. Now what you will see is a lot of guys do this way, they do this. See how I'm just creating momentum?
Yeah, and it looks like you're using your lower back like.
You're using more than what you should. The whole idea is to train your latissimus, which is the outside muscle here. When you start swinging back, what you've actually done is use too much weight, because you can't control that weight.
Yeah.
So do exactly that. Just always keep in mind, elbow goes back, your chest goes forward. And again, when you get to the back, go 1/1000 and then release. Don't just pull and then push, pull and push, or pull and release, I should say.
There's something coming out of this then, isn't it? Don't come into the gym with an ego because you're going to cheat yourself.
Well, nobody cares how much you lift. If you're walking on the street and you've got popping biceps, no one's actually thinking, I wonder how much he curls.
Yeah.
People just admire the physique. They're not thinking how much bicep curls did he do.
So lesser weight, better form equals better results.
Much better results, and faster too. You don't end up wasting time in the gym. And when you start to see the results, it fires you up to keep going.
Yeah.
A lot of guys that go to the gym, after 3 months, they don't see the results, they give up. They just go, it wasn't meant for me. It is. Everybody can change. You go to the gym because you want to change. There's something about you just didn't like.
Yeah.
Clearly, you looked in the mirror and went, I don't like what I see. My stomach, my shoulder, whatever it is. So you go to the gym to change.
But if you're in the gym for 3 months and you don't see any change, well, clearly you're doing something wrong.
Is it harder to get results once you go past 40?
No. We have done research on people well in their 80s. Muscle will grow at any age. The difference is recovery. We just take longer time to recover. So we got to train smarter. So if we can grow muscle at 80, surely we can grow muscle at 40.
Yeah.
But an 80-year-old might need 20 minutes of exercise, and that's all he can handle. We can probably do 40 minutes or 50 minutes, but that's our limit. We certainly can't go for 2 hours.
And how important is genetics? Because I always say he's got good genetics, that's why he's big.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, in the field of bodybuilding, good genetics wins all the time. Because you can't change the structure of you. If you've got a naturally blocky waist, then your shoulders look narrow. But a guy with a very tiny waist will naturally look like he's got really broad shoulders, even though he didn't work for it. So if you were to compete as a bodybuilder, genetics is a game changer. But if you just want to look good, walk around with a six-pack or broader shoulders, then genetics doesn't really matter. Yeah. Anybody can grow muscle.
And come on, let's think about it. You know, this video is going to go out to predominantly over 40s, living in Thailand, the sun's out. You want to take your top off on the beach, don't you?
Exactly, exactly. You don't want to be that one guy with the belly hanging out. Because what ends up happening, and I see it, they try to suck it in walking on the beach, and it's a dead giveaway what you're doing. It's very uncomfortable. Yeah. Walking around, you're trying to suck your gut in. Instead of trying to suck your gut in, lose the gut. But a lot of guys will come in and they think by doing ab exercises is the answer. It's not. You can't spot reduce. Think about this. You've got a bathtub and it's full of water. If I put a cup in there and take the water out, I don't see where the water, a hole in the water, do I? The water just naturally goes down. So think about the same as your body fat. It's high. And as you drain it, it starts to reveal what's underneath. Yeah. It doesn't take it from left to right. That's what spot reduction is. It just doesn't do that. So don't come in and do abs. The bigger the muscle, the bigger the impact. The abdominis is a very small muscle compared to your chest or your back. I would hit those muscles more because they have the greatest impact. Yeah. But so many times you see the guys doing sit-ups and crunches, and I'm like, you're wasting your time.
Yeah. So just lose the fat and then the abs will show.
Everybody's got a six-pack. It's just some you can't see because of the amount of fat you've got it covered with. The lower the body fat, you can see your abs. Sit-ups is not the answer. Dan, I've been doing bodybuilding for 30 years. I've been Mr. Universe. You know how many sit-ups I've done? One. That's the one I get out of bed in the morning. And
you don't train your abs?
Never. I train my abs indirectly. Every exercise I do hits my abs because I have to contract the abs as core in order to perform the exercise. I'm constantly squeezing the abs. And abs is a muscle. If it grows, my waist will look thicker and blockier. And I want that.
So you want to keep it under control, yeah?
I want to make it small as possible. You'll see guys on TV and the magazines train the abs. It's all BS. They're doing it because they're trying to sell the magazine or a product. Yeah. But everybody in the industry knows that doing ab training isn't going to work to get you lean and ripped. Okay. Unless you've got really weak abs, I go, yeah, go for it. You need a bigger abs. But I never train abs. I never get my clients to train abs. And I've got a proven track record of making champions without training abs.
Okay, I'll hold you to that because you're training me today.
Yeah, you'll feel your abs. Yeah. Okay, Dan, we're going to do a dumbbell exercise. Now, this is important. Most of the time, I'm going to use the machines. Once you get 40, 50, I like to use more machines because there's less injury. There's less chance of being injured. But we cannot neglect dumbbells. They are the most important piece of equipment in the gym, so we must incorporate dumbbell movements in our program. Don't just come in and do 100% on the machines. I would say 80% machine and 20% free weights, okay?
Okay, Bart, my forearms are shaking holding this camera, so thanks for training me at Muscle Factory in Pratamak. Just remind everyone again, over 40 years old, what do you need to remember when you're training?
You got to train smarter and not harder. You got to train with intensity. Dan, we did the whole workout for your back in 35 minutes. We did it heavy to what you could handle, and we did it fast as regarding the rest. Don't overtrain. You come in, train heavy, train hard, train intensity, then go home. You need the rest to recover. So don't be in the gym 2-3 hours. You're not going to get any results. So if you're over 40, keep it short, rest long after you finish training.
Good, and my rest starts now. See you next time.